Hi everyone, I hope you've all had a really lovely Easter weekend. Today we're starting a new series looking at different characters in the Bible and thinking about how God used each of them. But before I tell you who the first one is, I'd like to introduce you to two special people. Some of you might recognise at least one of them, and they're going to help me to think about armchair comforts. Actually, I think they could introduce themselves. Let's see if they can tell us their name, and I'm going to ask them their favourite Easter egg that they had this year.
My name is John and I live in Stenning.
My name is Caris, and my favourite chocolate egg that sadly I didn't even get this year are definitely mini eggs. I love mini eggs.
Oh, Easter eggs. Would you know, I only had one because I'm a grandpa, and it must have been a Cadbury's one.
That's great, thank you both. Now I'd like you to have a think about some other things apart from chocolate eggs that are really important to you. Firstly, in your houses, what is the most important piece of furniture that you have? What do you think you would miss most from your house if it wasn't there?
Well, now that's a good question.
Okay, so my favourite piece of furniture
What's the question again?
is probably my double bed. I like to spread out and I love sleeping, and it's probably where I would relax the most, in my double bed.
I think my cooker for cooking things on.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, I don't know how you feel about camping. Have any of you ever been on a camping holiday? We all love to go camping as a family. We spend our holiday times in a tent. Yes, that's right, in a tent, a canvas tent, and we love it. But what if I was to say to you, from tomorrow, you can't live in your house anymore, you're going to live in your tent forever. Ever and ever in a tent. Now what would you miss most? What do you think you would miss most about your houses if you were forever going to live in a tent?
Okay, so if we had to go camping,
I think my comfortable bed.
I find that in the summer I get too hot when I'm camping, and in the winter I get too cold. So I like being at a nice temperature, and I can only get that in my house.
Isn't that interesting? Now, I wonder then, what would make it easier? Suppose I said to you, you can take 3 things, just 3 of your own things with you. What would you take to live in your tent?
Oh, 3 things.
I thought, well, of course I would want to take my Bible. That's furniture, that's not a thing really, that's a very special book.
The first thing would be a pillow so that I can get good sleep. I think I could give up my double bed, but not a pillow. So a good pillow.
And I'd want to take my toothbrush.
And then I would take, well, I probably wouldn't have any internet, so maybe a book or a diary so that I could write down what I was doing in the day.
And what else would I like to take?
And then my last thing is a coffee machine with a milk frother so I can have a good latte and just hope that I have electricity to plug it in.
A camping stove. And what else? I got one more thing. Yes. A nice warm rug to keep warm.
Now, have you guessed which Bible character we're going to be looking at? We're going to look at the story of Abraham, because Abraham was asked to leave the comfortable city where he had lived for a very long time, to leave his house and to go and live in a tent. God was taking him on an amazing journey, and he promised that he would be with him. Let's see what happened to Abraham when he followed God's call to go and live in his tent.
The Lord said to Abraham, Leave your country, your family, and your relatives, and go to the land that I will show you. I will bless you and make your descendants into a great nation. You will become famous and a blessing to others. I will bless anyone who blesses you, but I will put a curse on anyone who puts a curse on you. Everyone on earth will be blessed because of you. Abraham was 75 years old when the Lord told him to leave the city of Haran. He obeyed and left with his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all the possessions and slaves they had gotten while in Haran. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abraham went as far as the sacred tree of Moreh, in a place called Shechem. The Canaanites were still living in the land at the time, but the Lord appeared to Abraham and promised, I will give this land to your family forever. Abraham then built an altar there for the Lord. Later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision. Abram, don't be afraid. I will protect you and reward you greatly. But Abram answered, Lord, all-powerful, you have given me everything I could ask for, except children. And when I die, Eliezer of Damascus will get all I own. You have not given me any children, and this servant of mine will inherit everything. The Lord replied, No, he won't. You will have a son of your own, and everything you have will be his. Then the Lord took Abram outside and said, Look at the sky and see if you can count the stars. That's how many descendants you will have. Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord was pleased with him.
Right. Well, I've got everything I need for my journey, but I'm not quite sure which way to go. That way or this way? And to make it a bit more confusing still, someone's left this here. Do I go that way, or maybe even up?
Come on, Phil. You're taking such a long time. You have so many things with you. This road is not very safe, so you have to be very careful. Come on. Whoa, whoa, gosh. I got out of the way of that car just in time. Whoa, it wasn't as safe, this road, as I thought it would be, but I will carry on. Oh, and it's snowing a little bit, and I have lost Phil. I don't know where he is. Phil, where are you? I'm sure he'll catch up. I can't even see him, but I can see that this road is straight ahead and that will lead to somewhere. So I will carry on. Phil! Carry on and carry on. That's all I say. Oh, there you are. Oh,
Thank
gosh,
goodness.
I lost you.
Hello, Christine. I've caught up with you at last. It took such a long time because I was carrying all these things which I really didn't need to bring with me. Well, anyway, we're here now, so all we need to decide is which way to go.
Yep, we could go that way, you decide. But we're at the end of this road and we finally got somewhere, but we need to get to where we want to go. So decide, Phil, which way do you want to go?
That way. Come on, this is the way at last. The sun is shining and I know that this is the way to Partridge Green. Well, I was wrong. This road didn't lead anywhere, did it? So let's put all this stuff down. Now, as we saw in the story, God called Abraham to go on a journey, and Abraham obeyed without even knowing where that journey would take him. Now, I've made a handy little craft in the shape of a traffic light, and if I'd had this before I started today's journey, it might have gone a bit better. You see, it says, stop and listen to God, slow, so slow down and make time for God, and then go God's way every day. Now, you might like to make your own craft traffic light, which is just a black rectangle red circle, amber circle and a green circle, and you can put a loop on it to make it into a hanger for your door so that it will remind you to stop and listen to where God is calling you to go.